Hi everybody, this is Katie with Mountain Girl Wellness, and I am here for the very first ever recorded version of our new moon meditation circles that I hold once a month. I usually do these circle sessions in person, but given the climate of our local community right now, we just suffered through, and some people are still suffering through, the devastation of the Hatcher Mountain fires. So with that being said, I decided to make this month's circle recorded. So if you are still dealing with the aftermath of that, then you will not feel like you need to make time to come to circle. You can do the recorded version whenever you have a free moment or you need that relaxation. And then if you have never joined us in person for a meditation circle before, we meet at the new moon once a month, and I'll explain a little later why we meet at new moon time. But we meet at that time once a month for about a 2-hour session of centering and meditation and intention setting. So this gives you an opportunity to try that out and see if you would like to maybe join us in the future. And circle is just simply a place where you can relax, practice some meditation, which is just a practice of focusing the awareness in the present moment, shutting out all of the static of the outside world, and then learning how to control that focus. So I'll lead you through this. You don't have to know how to do that already. It is a practice, so it's something that you will practice all the time, hopefully. And all of the content for my new moon circles comes from the Wild Woman Project. You can check them out at thewildwomanproject.com. And right now we're doing a series called The Path of the Poet, where once a month we are inspired through a different poet that represents the embodiment of the wild woman spirit. So we've done a different poet every month, and we have a poet that inspired our meditation for today's session as well, which I'll also get to that a little bit later. So we'll go ahead and get started here in a moment. Here's a few things that you will need. You might want to have a journal or a pen and paper, anything to take notes or write down. And then you also want to make yourself really comfy and cozy. Maybe use a nice yoga bolster or a mat or blankets and pillows. Just get wherever you are to be your most comfortable self. And then finally, feel free to kind of decorate your space. Maybe you'll want to use some incense or some crystals or candles, anything to make yourself feel most comfortable. And I am doing this outside today, so there might be a few noises in the background, including my rooster, which you have probably already heard. But that's the perfect thing about meditation, is that it is the practice of focusing inward and not hearing that outward distraction. So if you want to pause me here and take a moment to kind of grab those items, make yourself comfortable, please do, and then we'll get started. Alright, we'll go ahead and get started, and we always start by lighting a candle to begin circle. So if you have a candle there with you that is unlit, you might want to light your candle along with me to signify the beginning of your circle time. And let this flame represent the wild spirit that burns within each of us. And as we light our own wild spirit, we ignite the collective spirit. All right, so just to go ahead and start pulling that intention inward and focusing on our inner self, we always start out with just a simple centering. So if it's most comfortable for you to lie down here, please do. If not, though, take a traditional meditation seat, grounding the sits bones into the floor beneath you, allowing the spine to be tall and straight, allowing the crown of the head to come up towards the ceiling. And whenever you're ready, allowing the eyes to gently drop to close. And just begin to notice yourself in the present moment. Notice how your body is feeling. Notice how the air feels on your skin. And maybe just start to take notice of your natural breath. You don't have to change the breath in any way, but just notice it and use it as an anchor for your focus. Always coming back to it if you feel your focus drifting. Focusing on the inhales and the exhales. And as we pay attention to our breath, we might begin to notice that our exhales begin to slow and lengthen. And as our exhales slow and lengthen, your inhales might begin to grow deeper and longer. Maybe now you begin to take some of the longest, deepest breaths that you have taken all day today, allowing the air to travel down the windpipes into the chest and even further down into the deep belly area. Inhaling and exhaling, and just focusing on the path that air is taking through the body. And if you want to continue breathing in this way, just taking nice, long, deep belly breaths, please do. But if you would like to join me in a little bit of pranayama breath work, we're going to do some even box breaths. And these box breaths represent the phase of the moon, if you really think about it. So in order to practice this breath, you'll choose a number like 4, 6, or 8. We'll inhale to the count of that number and then pause at the top of the inhale for that same count. Then we will exhale the breath for that same count of that number. And at the bottom, when we're completely empty, we will pause for that same count before starting the cycle over. So as an example, if you chose the number 4, you would inhale 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. And continue on with this breath at your own number count, your own pace, focusing on your counting and your breathing. And as you inhale, think of the moon cycle. And just like us, as we inhale new breath into the body, the moon begins to wax, building energy, coming to that top of the breath, the top of the full moon, where it's completely full with new energy. And then as we exhale, we begin to release that energy, waning like the waning moon, coming all the way down to the bottom of our breath, completely empty of energy like the new moon that we are celebrating today. Wherever you're at within your cycle, there's no rush to get there, but as you finish the last pause at the bottom of an exhale, just begin to return back to those deep belly breaths, refocusing. There's no rush to get there, taking your time and care. And on your next inhale, begin to pull all of that energy that we have built in our bodies up towards our head space. It might take a few breaths to get it up there, but once we're there, observe what your head space feels like here in this current moment. Again, don't try to alter it in any way, just observe. Maybe you see colors, shapes, images. Maybe you see nothing at all, and that's okay. Just take note of your mind this evening. Now, as you continue to breathe on your next inhale, begin to pull that energy down out of the head space and into the heart space. Again, we're just going to observe what the heart space feels like in this moment and looks like. Maybe it's in line with the head space, or maybe it's off doing something completely of its own. And that's okay. Just observe where you're at in this present moment. Making that full connection between the mind and the body. And finally, take a moment here to connect with whatever it is that you find most divine. That could be a higher power, the universe, or maybe even just an energy that you feel within yourself. Whatever that divine spirit is for you, make a connection here with it, being open to anything that might come here in this moment. When you're ready, take as much time here as you need, but gently allow the eyes to open. And then go ahead and pause the video here, grabbing your journal and making note of anything that you would like to remember later, or anything that came to you, maybe recording how your head space and your heart space felt, and making that connection between mind, body, and spirit. Anything that you want to jot down, go ahead and pause the video here and take a moment to do that. And then when you're ready, we'll continue on. All right, so if you're ready to move along, I'm going to introduce this month's theme. And like I said earlier, we always do these circles at the new moon time. And the reason for that is because the new moon time is the start of a new phase. It's a complete new beginning. And so it's a great time to set intentions for ourselves, and set intentions that can carry us through our full next cycle. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce the new moon. We are in the new moon of Aries, and the new moon happened on April 1st for our time zone, so 2 days ago from when we are holding our circle. I always hold circle usually on a Sunday, whatever Sunday comes after the new moon. And Aries, it's a fire sign, and its ruling planet is Mars. And then Aries is symbolized by the ram. So you can kind of equate Aries with strength and confidence and high self-esteem. So it's a great time to go forth with these characteristics in mind when setting our when we set our intentions later on. And like I said, we are being inspired each month by different poets. And this month's poet is named Diane Ackerman, and she is still alive and with us today. She's a poet, an essayist, and she actually studied as a scientist. She is a scientist and a naturalist. And a really cool fact about her is she was actually a mentee of the famous Carl Sagan, if you've ever read any of his works. So we are going to be inspired by her work and her philosophy of life during the meditation that I'll be guiding you through here shortly. And we're going to specifically look at her poem entitled School Poem. And I am just going to read this poem to you here in a moment. And I just want you to sit back and take it in. We all take in poems differently. We all hear the same words, but we get different meanings out of them. And I think that's a really cool reflection of what the new moon meditation circle is, because right now, while we are doing this, you're sitting there doing your own circle experience, but also at the same time, everyone else in our community that's watching this video is having that experience. And there's also circles all around, not just this country, but our world happening. So I think it's a really cool thing that we're all hearing the same content, but we're all getting different messages and intentions that we need for ourselves out of it. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and read the poem for you. If you want to just sit back and relax, maybe close the eyes and let the words wash over you. Like I said, this is entitled School Prayer by Diane Ackerman. In the name of the daybreak, and the eyelids of morning, and the wayfaring moon, and the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, and as an architect of peace. In the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day that embraces it, and the cloud veils drawn over it, and the uttermost night, and the male and the female, and the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple, I will honor all life, wherever and in whatever form it may dwell on earth, my home, and in the mansions of the stars. So that is School Prayer by Diane Ackerman. And I do always want you to kind of take out your own themes from the poem, what you get out of it. But you can see this theme, which is the theme of the meditation we will be heading into. I will not dishonor my soul with hatred. And I think that this is coming at a very important time, because Aries is the new beginning of not just the astrological calendar, but also the beginning of a new season. For us in my hemisphere, it's the season of spring, and then on the other side of the world, they're starting to come into their winter seasons. So I think this is a great time, because in our day and age, it seems like there's so much hatred that is spoken, especially through the media. We're always hearing this person has done wrong and you should, cancel culture them, or rage culture. So I think those are interesting things to think about, how you can be, as she said, kind of an architect of peace. You don't have to give in to the hatreds, and you don't have to give in to the negative energy. You can be that positive energy. So those are some things to think about once we start our meditation. But first, before we start, I always like to do a small activity in our in-person circle where we all draw our own oracle card. If you've never used oracle cards before, it's not quite the same thing as a tarot card. It is around 50 to 60 cards, usually around 56 cards of an artist's guidance and imagination, and you can use them as almost just a jumping off point for some inward thought and insight, and use them to almost start as a journal prompt for some journaling that we'll do here in a moment. Now, normally in circle, I would have you all choose your own cards that kind of you feel like are moving to you in this moment. However, obviously, since we are not together today, I am going to just choose a card for us all to use. But if you have a deck of cards at home, feel free to pause me here and maybe draw your own card if you like, and use that card to journal, or use both the cards that you draw and I draw to journal. So today I am using the deck Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And I always say with these cards to look at not just the words on the cards, but also the imagery, any numbers, any colors. Something might jump out for you right away. It might spark something in you, an idea that you want to run with and journal with. Or maybe it's something that hasn't happened to you yet. Maybe you'll be moving throughout your moon cycle this month, and something will kind of spark a recognition, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that was like the card from New Moon Meditation. Now, I will say all of the activities within Circle are completely optional. So if you just want to sit back and watch this part, don't feel like journaling about it or fast forwarding to the meditation, that's completely up to you. So I've been sitting here shuffling our deck, and I'm just going to take a moment here and draw a card to represent all of us here in our new moon community. All right. So the card that I have drawn is called A Change in the Wind. And I want to make sure you can see it here. Move my camera a little bit. So it's a change in the wind, number 12. And if you'd like to pause here and kind of just check out the imagery, go ahead and pause the video. And when you're ready, you've taken it in, go ahead and hit play again. Alright, I hope you could see it well. But now what I want you to do is to pause the video. If you couldn't see the imagery super well, I'll post a picture of that card on my Instagram and Facebook pages for you guys to go check out. But pause the video here and spend some time with your journal. And I just want you to see what you get out of the card first. And then once you're ready, once you've journaled for a few minutes, I'm going to read to you the intended purpose from the artist so that you can see her meaning as well. So go ahead and pause, and then I will read that. All right, so if you are done journaling for your own meaning that you got out of the card, I'm going to really quick read the meaning from the author. So, a change in the wind. A sense that unseen change has been initiated. Preparation for a storm. Awareness that your plans are not on firm ground, and feeling a shift. Uncertainty about which direction the wind will blow. It's human nature to yearn for certainty and resist change, to want the world to remain consistent like a zebra's stripes. Yet nothing in human experience is black and white, nor will anything remain static. The one thing guaranteed is change. Now is a time of transformation as outer conditions are temporarily moving out of sync with your desires and expectations. Stay the course and remember that even storms serve to clear the air, scatter seeds, and nourish the soil for better things ahead. Life is about to get interesting. Anticipate it with curiosity as you wonder what is coming in on the shifting winds. The unknown is where the magic lies. So there is a little bit more in the booklet about different messages associated with this card, and I will post that information on my social media with the picture of this card as well. But if you need any more time to journal, please go ahead and do that. And if not, we'll go ahead and move into our meditation. I will not dishonor my soul with hatred. So go ahead and get comfortable. Again, you might want to lay down, or you might want to take a traditional meditation pose. And whenever you're ready, just play this video again and we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you're ready to begin, we will get comfortable. If you're laying down, go ahead and let the eyes close and begin to release the body into the floor, letting all of the tension seep out of you and becoming completely limp. If you're sitting up, make sure you've ground the sits bones into your floor with a tall, straight spine, allowing the crown of the head to drift up towards the ceiling and letting the eyes close. Get comfortable in whatever position you wish so that your body can easily open the imagination and set it free. This is going to be more of an open guided meditation. A lot of times I take you on a real visually guided meditation. But this one's going to be more interpretive of your ideas and your inner guidance. So take a moment here to return to that deep belly breath. And as you settle in and become more focused, pulling your attention inward, I'm going to share with you once more the poem from Diane Ackerman, School Prayer. In the name of the daybreak, and the eyelids of morning, and the wayfaring moon, and the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, and as an architect of peace. In the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day that embraces it, and the cloud veils drawn over it, and the uttermost night, and the male and the female, and the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple. I will honor all life, wherever and in whatever form it may dwell, on earth, my home, and in the mansions of the stars. Taking in a big breath, and slowly and gently exhaling the breath. Focus on the heart space and begin to allow your inner spirit and your inner life to come into better and better focus with every inhale you take. Turning our eyes, our ears, all of our senses inward. Paying attention and focusing. And allowing the breath to roll in and out of the body, just like a wave. Imagine pulling into the depths of the ocean and then rolling back, crashing onto the shore, these waves of your breath. Breathing in new prana, new energy, new intention. And focusing on that spirit within you, that light within you, that heart space. as you relax deeper inward, I'm going to ask you a few things to consider. Don't go searching for the answers. Just allow the answers to come to you. But if you do feel your focus wander and slipping away, just come back to your inhales and your exhales, refocusing, re-anchoring inward. So I first ask you to consider, what is a prayer? Human beings have been praying for all of written history, even before that. So ask yourself, if you reach your imagination back through the depths of time, why in so many places and in so many times all over the world, in so many different forms, why has there been prayer? And what is prayer? What is the human heart longing for when it goes to prayer? It may come from a longing to connect with something far more vast than the tiny impermanent self, to reach our human hearts out and into the vast interconnected web of life and reality as we perceive it. If you were going to begin to pray today, and this doesn't have to be a prayer to a higher power, it could be a prayer to the universe, it could be even just a prayer to the spirit within you or to the self. But if you were going to begin to pray right now, can you imagine how you would start that prayer? All it takes is a beginning. Can you feel a little love for yourself and how beautiful it is that you could begin to pray? We all could, and we all do sometimes unconsciously. Prayer doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be out loud. It doesn't have to be to any specific thing even. As we think about the theme of not dishonoring our hearts with hatred, how lovely would it be to see a world where all the wild spirits' prayers are freed? And that is the treasure that you can find within Diane Ackerman's poem. We get to hear a wild woman spirit in her prayer. A prayer that she would offer to children as an elder. In her prayer, she offers up a passage which is kind of like making a vow. And as you begin to focus back in on your breath, inhales and exhales, we're going to walk together through a few of these vows and see how we each understand them. So continue your deep belly breaths. Continue your focus and awareness inward, and let her words wash over you. I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred. Try that sentiment on for yourself. What does that mean to you? What does dishonoring one's soul with hatred look like and feel like? How does it express for you? Maybe you see it as a judgmental thought or an intolerant thought, a harsh word, or violence in any form. Can you imagine what it would be like to drop any way that you dishonor your soul with hatred and just lie that thing on the ground? Imagine in your mind's eye that you are gathering up these things and you are laying down your weapons. The poem goes on to say, "But offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature." So in your mind's eye, imagine yourself offering yourself humbly as a guardian of nature. How might that express? How does that express when you explore that within your own nature? For you in your life, how does that, or how could that look? And how could that feel to offer yourself humbly as a guardian of nature? Take a deep inhale and an exhale. The poem goes on to say, "As a healer of misery." How could that express or feel in your life? Where does misery happen? And how could you be a healer of the misery? Where in your life could that happen? Take an inhale and an exhale, and we go on with the line, "As a messenger of wonder." Can you imagine yourself as a messenger of wonder? What does that look like? And finally, her final vow in this poem is, as an architect of peace, I offer myself humbly. Imagine yourself in your life, in your community, in your family, wherever you stand, wherever you are connected as an architect of peace. Taking an inhale and an exhale. Refocusing your intention to that heart space. And inside of your own heart, give a little bow to that garden you found within you. A bow to the healer in you, to the messenger in you, and finally to the architect of peace within you. And if you like, maybe we even give a little bow to Diane Ackerman, who gave us these images and words to broaden our own perspectives. Inhale and exhale. And if it feels okay, place one hand on your low belly below your navel and one hand on your heart space. Feeling your body beneath you. Feeling the breath beneath your hands. And see if you can breathe into these words and see and feel them fully. I will honor life wherever and in whatever form it may dwell on earth, my home, in the mansions of the stars. Taking deep inhales and exhales. Staying here as long as you need to. But as you feel focused and grounded and fully present here in this moment, begin to peek open the eyes. And maybe on an inhale, taking a big stretch of the hands up above the head. And exhaling to release. And maybe you take a moment to turn towards your journal once more. Pause this video and take notes of anything that came up for you during that meditation. Take note of anything you don't want to forget. You might write words, you might draw pictures, whatever is most comfortable for you. Or you might even want to take another few moments in silent meditation just to gather your thoughts. Either way, pause this video and then return to it when you're ready to move on. Okay, so if you are done journaling, normally in circle, now is the time for our shares. But of course we are not in person, so we cannot share with one another like we normally would in an in-person circle. So if you feel comfortable with it, like I said, this is completely voluntary. Use the comment section below the video to maybe comment in any way that you felt moved by this meditation, by the centering, by the oracle card that we pulled. Anything that you might want to share with the rest of the community that's sharing in this same meditation practice. But don't feel like you have to share any of your inner thoughts. It's never required, of course. So I would ask you though, if you are watching this video and participating, maybe just to drop a comment below with your name, where you're watching from, and just simply leave it at that at the very minimum. But I always encourage, if you are comfortable with sharing more, please feel free to share whatever feels called for you to share. Of course, since this is about not dishonoring our hearts with hatred, any ugly comments or any kind of bullying will not be tolerated in the comment section and will be deleted and blocked. So we'll keep this a safe space and a safe circle, and an accepting and judgment-free circle. So now we will go ahead and set our intentions for ourselves moving forward into this new moon cycle. So think about all of your notes that you've jotted down from your centering and from your oracle card and from our meditation. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of a prompt. You can either write within your journal page, or maybe you even want to make a special little card to post by your bathroom mirror, so that way you'll see your intention every day moving forward throughout this moon cycle of Aries. So if you need to pause and grab anything, pause now, and then I will give you our little intention prompts. So you don't have to copy this word for word. If you need to change it in any way, please change it. But here's the prompts for your intention. This moon cycle, I, as an architect of peace, will offer myself humbly throughout this cycle by blank. So whatever you intend to make as an intention for yourself moving forward through this month, do it through the eyes of an architect of peace. So during this moon cycle, as an architect of peace, I offer myself humbly through the cycle by whatever you choose to put in that blank there. Now, normally we would do a small ritual with our intentions to kind of lock in our shares and lock in our intentions together. But again, since we are not together, maybe you want to drop a comment in the comment section, but I encourage you to come up with your own small little ritual to kind of give intention towards this promise you're making yourself, to lead you through as an architect of peace. Maybe it might feel right to go outside and say a little prayer, maybe spend some thoughtful time with your intention under the moonlight, or maybe since this is the new moon in Aries and it's a fire sign, maybe you feel called to do a little ritual of burning your intention under the new moon, or maybe even the full moon, and kind of releasing that intention out into the universe. So whatever you do, go forth and be serious with your intentions. So that leads us to kind of the conclusion of circle. So I will end by saying this. We'll bring our prayer hands to heart center and allow the eyes to drop closed. Today we have honored ourselves and our fellow circle community. We've honored that place inside us where the entire universe dwells. A place that is love, peace, truth, and light. when I am within that place in me and you are within that place in you, it is like we are one. The light in me sees and honors the light within you. Namaste. So to officially end, we will blow out this candle. And as I blow out our flame, allow that wild spirit to continue to burn within you. Thank you for joining me in this practice. I hope you have enjoyed it. If it is something you're interested in, please make sure that you are following my social media. There'll be links to that in the bottom little about section of this video. We do this every month, once a month. The next one will be at the beginning of May, and it will also be virtual. It might be in this same setup as a recorded session, or I'm not very technologically advanced, but if I can figure out how to do it properly, I might actually offer it as a live online virtual offering. So be sure you're following me on social media so that you'll get information about that circle. And then I hope to be able to get back to in-person circles soon as well. Circle is usually a $10 exchange when it's in person. However, since this is an online atmosphere, you're not getting quite the full experience that you would in circle. This is just a donation-based video. My Venmo information is in the about section below as well, with my social media information. However, if you cannot donate financially, it's just as big of a help if you share this video on your Facebook or your Instagram or your TikTok or wherever, any kind of social media that you have. If you can share and get this out there for people that you think might be interested in this offering too, or have talked about trying meditation. So as always, I thank you. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have a great moon cycle with the new moon in Aries.